UFC Fight Night Qatar is going down this weekend. We got the main event of Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Thank God, because we really need a good fight night after those two title fights last week. Thank God, perfect timing for a stacked fight night card. And this is a pretty stacked fight night card because it's 2025, and when you have lightweight contenders fighting each other, when you have a co-main event that's a number one contender fight, that's some legit fights right there. So I'm going to break down the biggest and most important fights on this card and give my predictions. And I'm done doing all this hours of studying and research on each fighter, because you know what? A lot of the X's and O's don't really matter. What matters is the general gist and perception you get when you watch the fighter fight. Alright? It's not a battle of technique versus technique in predictions from what I'm seeing this year, alright? It's more about gut feeling and who just seems more powerful, who seems like the right guy to pick at the time. So, let's get straight into the first, most important, biggest fight on this card. It's actually pretty down low. Here it is. Let me move myself to the top. No, not that. There we go. Alright. I better be recording. Am I recording? Alright, cool. We're still good. We're good. We got Beksa Almakhan fighting Alexandre Topuria. Hey, we got Ilya Topuria's big bro. That's right. Ilya Topuria must have skyrocketed way quicker than this guy, because this is Ilya Topuria's older brother. His Dagestani looking older brother. Does this guy look Spanish to you? Ilya Topuria looks really Spanish. This guy looks more Dagestani than anything. Are you sure they're full brothers anyway? They fight pretty similar, but Ilya Topuria is more skilled. But let's start with Beksa Almakhan, because he's less popular. His brother's not a champion. But this guy's a pretty dangerous striker. I think his first legit UFC fight was against Umar Nurmagomedov. And guess what? He dropped Umar. He dropped the legit number one contender at bantamweight. Actually, I think Petr Yan's the legit number one contender, but you know what I mean. Merab's biggest nightmare at the moment. He dropped him with the big clubbing overhand, and it hit Umar Nurmagomedov right in the temple. So that was pretty impressive. And he went 3 rounds with Umar. But he just fought after that, and he got a first round KO with the in-close uppercut, and he redeemed himself. So not bad. I think he's 1-1 in UFC. Hopefully I'm not tripping here. But he's fairly new to the UFC. Let me make sure. 2 fights from what I'm seeing, alright? Not bad at all. Even though he's only 1-1, that's a pretty legit record. He knocked down Umar, and he has a knockout over, what's his name? Someone who's not as big a name as Umar, alright? So this guy wants to be a striker. He wants to be on the feet. He wants to catch Alexandre Topuria with something quick, something powerful with his hands. And his takedown defense still needs to be proven. Umar got him down at will with single leg after single leg. But that is a Nurmagomedov. I mean, come on. Umar trains with Islam, man. He trains with Islam. But yeah, Beksa Almakhan is legit, and he's definitely going to pose problems. Let's talk about Alexandre Topuria. His last fight, I think it was his first and only UFC fight. How inactive is this guy? He fought Cody Thickness. But the thing is, this guy was more stocky and more muscular than Cody Thickness. So that didn't really matter. Sure, Volk is Cody Thickness's coach, but Topuria tried to fight like his brother Topuria. The main difference is he doesn't look Spanish, and he doesn't have the head movement that Ilya Topuria has. And he doesn't have the combinations that Ilia Topuria has. He plays it a little more safe. He's a little more timid. He's not a timid fighter, but he's not just throwing boom, 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 4 to 6 punch power shots like Topuria. Topuria swings so hard, sometimes he gets off balance. I swear. But yeah, same exact stance. Doesn't move his head as much though, and he likes to throw that big right hand. And that's really it. And he's got wrestling, but he's real patient, too patient for my liking. I don't think he can beat Almakhan in the stand-up. Almakhan seems quicker. He's proved more with his striking. I know Topuria has a strong right hand. He's Ilya's brother, after all. His Dagestani-looking brother. But he does have the wrestling. And Almakhan hasn't proved that he could stop the wrestling against Umar, which makes this a tough prediction, because that's Umar. Umar would beat Alexandre Topuria. Come on. You kidding me? Damn, I think Alexandre Topuria is going to have tough moments, but he's been training with Ilya, and he does have the wrestling to back it up. I seen him suplex Cody Thickness. But who the fuck is Cody Thickness fought? Seriously. Man, this is a tough one. Wait, it says Alexandre's from Germany, but he gets announced as Spain and they're Georgian? Bro, the Topuria brothers are involved with more countries and claim more countries than Izzy Adesanya. I never thought I'd see that. If they had to pick one flag, I wonder what they would pick. What are you the most of? This is a tough one. This might be the toughest pick on the card. I'm going to have to go with Alexandre Topuria. I'm going to go with it. I'm thinking Almakhan, but, you know, like I said earlier, I'm going to pick predictions based off who seems more powerful, who's got more steam going, who's got more momentum going, who's better for the company to win as well. That's got to be a factor. Who are they going to give the decision to if it's a close, grimy fight? I'm going Alexandre Topuria, but technically I'm going with him because of the wrestling. I think if he gets in trouble on the feet, he can shoot blast double legs, get body locks, and maybe even stall Almakhan against the fence. I don't think Topuria's getting the finish, though. I got praise for Almakhan, and Topuria's timid. He's not a fight finisher. Maybe timid's the wrong word, because he'll go for it. He'll pressure you. It's weird to call a pressure fighter timid, but he's not a finisher. Give me Topuria by decision. Give me Topuria by decision. And this is a good card. We got Nicholas Dalby. Not a fan of that guy, though. Like, check his Instagram bio and tell me if you're a fan of that guy. What the fuck's going on here? These guys are fighting shadows. These guys are fighting shadows. If the UFC doesn't care who they're fighting, then I don't give a fuck, alright? Alex Perez versus Almabayev. Alex Perez has been losing, though, right? Alex Perez been losing. I'm going Almabayev. I think he was supposed to fight recently, but pulled out. What the fuck's wrong with the website? Kazakhstan. They're going to give it to him, man. He beat Ochoa. He lost to Manel Cap. He's a pretty good fighter. He can win by decision, you know? He's a decision machine. But he's a pretty strong decision machine. He submitted Osborne, but that was a while ago. Give me Almabayev by decision. Not too high on Alex Perez right now. He's got to prove himself to me. Moving on to the main card. Tiger versus Horiguchi. Again, with the wrestling. I'm going to pick the wrestler here. Even though he's not as strong of a wrestler as the Nurmagomedovs, this guy can definitely win on the ground. He tapped out Cody Durden. He smoked Cody Durden. I remember that. This guy can definitely win on the ground. He's got more ways to win because of that. And we know when you're better on the ground, $7 billion company website, by the way. When you're on the ground, you have more ways to win, and it helps the striking, even if you're the worst striker. Let's check out Haraguchi. Hasn't fought the competition. Clearly hasn't fought the competition that Tiger's fought. I'm going with the Tiger. What the fuck, UFC website? Let me scroll up for once. Alright, now we're getting to the really good part of the card, alright? We're getting to the really good part of the card. I love a good heavyweight fight because those are far and few between. Sergey Spivak. Isn't his nickname the Spider? What's he doing stealing Anderson Silva's nickname? Versus Shamil Gaziev. Here's the breakdown. I'm going Shamil Gaziev, alright? I know he's called the Blob by every other YouTuber. Maybe I need to coin my own nickname for him. I don't know. Dad Bod Gaziev. Flabby Gaziev. This is actually a good fight. I would say Sergey Spivak is like the mid-tier of the heavyweight division. He's the mid-tier because he got beat by Jailton Almeida his last fight. He got cracked with that right hand. And we heard what DC said. Almeida can't fight. He's just a grappler. He got knocked out by Curtis Blades. That boring guy. I'm not talking about Spivak. But Spivak got knocked out by the boring Jailton Almeida. Now I know Spivak. He's done some things. He's beat some guys in his career. He's well-rounded. He can shoot takedowns. He can go to decision with Waldo Acosta, the eye poker, right? Or the guy who got eye poked. The eye poke survivor. The guy sent out to humiliate Aspinall against his teammate. Anyway, Sergey Spivak went to decision with Waldo Acosta. But still, he got knocked out by Jailton Almeida. I'm not trying to do MMA math. But there's nothing that really stands out about Spivak. Except he's not a fat heavyweight, right? He's not a bad fighter. Let's just pull up his last few wins real quick. Real quick. Loss. That wasn't a bad loss to Acosta, though. Waldo Acosta. He beat Tybura. Damn, he loses to all the top-level guys. He beat Derek Lewis by sub. Anyway, I'm picking Shamil Gaziev. He has that piston right hand. He's almost like the heavyweight Mirzakhanov. Am I wrong? A fat guy who has a faster right hand than you would expect? First round knockouts. This guy's a finisher. Well, his last fight was first round knockout. But he beat Dante Mays? He only got knocked out by Rosenstrike, but other than that, his debut was a second round KO. He's got fast hands for someone his size. And I could see this fight looking like the Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak fight. Maybe Spivak gets a takedown. Gaziev reverses it, stuffs it. And then he just throws the piston power punch. He throws the piston right hand, straight punch down the middle, and cracks Spivak. He's taken less damage in his career than Spivak has too. He only got finished by Rosenstrike, who the UFC cut, by the way. Probably because he's just a prospect killer. Rosenstrike's good. I got Shamil Gaziev by second round KO. He's going to throw a straight cross, straight down the middle, and land clean on the chin of Sergey Spivak. Boom, we got a new heavyweight contender from Russia. The 260-pound blob, the dad bod Shamil Gaziev. He's going to believe, achieve, conceive. You best believe. Shout out Michael Bisping for that quote. Or that's Luke Rockhold's quote. Believe, achieve, conceive, whatever the fuck it is. Yep, Shamil Gaziev. That's what I gotta say. Second round KO. All right. I like this fight. What a weird fight. Hold on. You're telling me middleweight Jack Hermanson is fighting a 55er? A big 55er? Midabik Oralby. What kind of fucking name Jack the Joker Hermanson versus Mitabik Oralby. If you break down his last name, what the fuck is going on there? Oralby? That should get bleeped out on national TV. They should bleep out every time the commentators say his last name. That can't be said around children. All right. The Joker Jack Hermanson. Interesting fighter because he's a good jiu-jitsu fighter with average wrestling. Very average wrestling, but good on the ground. He beat Joe Pyfer. This guy's fought some big dudes in good competition. But he got knocked out by RoboCop. RoboCop should get jailed for that follow-up punch he did on the Jack Joker Hermanson. That was a disgraceful, disgusting follow-up punch. But other than that, Jack Hermanson's looked impressive other than the layoffs. He is an endurance fighter as well. He can go 5 rounds. Doesn't start the fastest. Maybe that's why he lost against RoboCop, but you know, Jack Hermanson's good. Joe Pyfer, but I'm not liking the activity here. Lost to Roman Dolidze, beat Chris Curtis, but what does that mean anymore? Lost to Strickland, beat Shabazian. What a weird resume because of all the layoffs. But he did beat Joe Pyfer in 2024. RoboCop knocked him out, but how bad can you fault him for that? He's fighting a 55er here. Let's talk about the Caveman. What the fuck, UFC website? Mitabek Oralby. Now, I'm going to pick Jack Hermanson against the Caveman. Doesn't this guy look like a caveman? If anyone looks like, it's this guy. Oh, man. He looks like he walks around with the club and he's like from the Flintstones or something. I don't know. He looks like he should be in the Flintstones from Kazakhstan. But anyway, former 55er fighting a middleweight Jack Hermanson at welterweight. I think this guy, he's got in some wars. He fought Rebici. Rebici is a warrior. But that guy's short and has a short reach and he gets hit a lot. And he lost a split decision to that guy, Rebici. I would say, if we're talking technique, Oralby, I might have to bleep this out and edit this video. Oralby, he's best at throwing an overhand right and then shooting a takedown behind it. He's real good at setting up that takedown with that overhand right. And that overhand right, it usually lands. He landed it on Rebici, but guess what? That guy's really hittable and really short. And is Oralby really gonna commit to those takedowns against a black belt like Jack Hermanson? I doubt it. Oralby's good, but unfortunately his best technique just isn't the right game plan to do against Jack Hermanson. I think Jack Hermanson's striking can keep him safe. I believe he could stay safer than Rebici did. He's got the reach. He can use his range. Oralby is not going to be confident in mixing in the takedowns. At least that's what I think. Hermanson is the Joker, but he's no joke on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So, Oralby is going to be looking for those big overhand rights, club and strikes. He is a caveman. He's going to be looking to club. Basic stuff. I think Jack Hermanson can handle it. I think he could be funky. He can be funky in the striking. He can mix in dirty shots. He can go elbows in the clinch if it gets too close. But he can keep it at range. And if it does go to the ground, I like Jack Hermanson's odds. I know about lighter man's skill and all that stuff. But is Oralby really more skilled than Hermanson? He went to split decision with Rebici, and it was a war. And Oralby's tough. But man, what about his orbital? Rebici hit him with a nasty left. Or Rebici, fuck. I'm probably fucking up his name. But either way, he effed up Oralby's face with the first punch he threw. And I know it was a solid overhand left, but Oralbai's taking some damage. He's been in some wars. He's an exciting fighter. He might even be more of an exciting fighter than Jack, but I'm picking Jack to win. The reach, his quality in opponents, the size. It's just, how's he going to look at 170? I could see him having a horrible time cutting all that weight and maybe getting beat to the punch. But just looking at these two fighters at face value, I'm going Jack Hermansson by decision. Oralbai's tough. Unless he does a stupid takedown and leaves his neck out there. I'm going Jack Hermansson by 3-round decision. This fight's interesting. I think it's going to be a nice scrap. I think we're going to see some bloodshed in this fight. And yes, Jack Hermansson might be hesitant. He might be hesitant. Who wouldn't be after that RoboCop fight? He might have PTSD after that fight. But I think Jack Hermansson's got this for some reason. For the reasons I said, alright? Jack Hermansson, 3-round decision. Moving on. The featured fight of the card. Volkan Ozdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. Ozdemir's a good fighter, but he's known for his losses. You know? I'm thinking of that Ulberg fight. Did I announce the fight? Volkan Ozdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. Right here, we got predominantly a backyard brawl punching scrap. A backyard bar fight. We got a bar fight here. I like this. This is exciting. Volkan Ozdemir's even been charged. He's been pressed with charges at bar fights. He's had bar fights in his career, hasn't he? And Alonzo Menifield, he swings like a fucking drunk guy. He swings like he's been out drinking all night. What the fuck is that? They have common opponents in Carlos Ulberg. We can't deny that. Carlos Ulberg. And I hate talking MMA math, but come on. Volkan Ozdemir gave Carlos Ulberg a run for his money for 3 rounds. He's got pressure. He's got power. I would say he's a little more technical than Alonzo Menifield. Ozdemir's called no time. He used to knock people out with those hooks. But, you know, after he got that title shot against DC. Didn't he get a title shot against DC? That's fucking crazy. The takedowns fucked him up. And then he lost to Garry, got knocked out, but put up a hell of a fight against Ulberg. Put the pressure on Ulberg. Landed punches. Did better than Reyes did. Alonzo Menifield, he's got power as well. But he went to split decision with that Julian guy, that basketball player, on his UFC debut. Menifield got knocked out in 2 seconds from Carlos Ulberg. Ran in him like a fucking psycho and a retard. He just ran into him. The fight IQ isn't there for Alonzo Menifield. But this is going to be a fun, slugging bar fight. I'm going Volkan Ozdemir. I think Ozdemir's a little more durable, even though he's been finished. Menifield doesn't have the IQ. I've seen him chinned. I've seen Ozdemir chinned as well. But Ozdemir I can understand. The Garry fight, he got caught with that elbow. That was nasty, right? That was a nasty fight, and that's Garry. Menifield's going to split decision in fight of the night fights with that Julian guy, the basketball player, on his UFC debut. Both these guys mostly use their hands. It's going to be fun. But I got Ozdemir. Come on. He knocked out Johnny Walker. He beat Bogdan Guskov on the ground. I forgot about that. He's not even that good on the ground. That's crazy. I forgot about that. Lost to Krylov. That's okay. That was when Krylov was good. But recently, decision with Ulberg. Close decision. Knocked out Johnny Walker. That is way more impressive than what the fuck Alonzo Menifield's been doing. Beat Sai by decision. Won a split decision against Julian Walker or whatever his name is. Lost against Mirzakhanov by knockout. Before that, Ulberg knocked him out. He beat Jacoby. This is going to be a fun fight. Beat Crute. But recently, come on. If you've been keeping up with the UFC the past 2 years, you're going to say Volkan Ozdemir is going to beat Alonzo Menifield. Alonzo Menifield is the definition of a puncher's chance. I like how Ozdemir looked against Ulberg, who's basically the #1 contender right now. Give me Volkan Ozdemir by a late knockout. I say a late knockout. Let's see this fight play out a little bit. I think he's going to get a 3rd round KO. Late second or third round KO. I'm going over 2.5 rounds. KO by Volkan No Time Ozdemir. But I think he's going to take his time. No, let me rephrase that. He's not going to take his time. But it's going to take time. Wait a second. Is this going to be an early knockout? Hold on. No. That's wishful thinking. I want it to go 3 rounds. I want to see a 3-round bar fight. That would be awesome. But in reality, this is going to be a 1st round knockout, Volkan Ozdemir. 1st round knockout or early 2nd round knockout. I'm going Volkan Ozdemir knockout under 2.5 rounds. The fun stuff doesn't last too long lately. You know, that's wishful thinking. It's going to be a fun fight while it lasts. Give me Volkan Ozdemir KO under 2.5 rounds. Whoa. This is a co-main event? Hell yeah. Belal Muhammad. Remember the name. I think we remembered the name by now. Versus Ian Garry. I'm not calling him by his wife's ex-husband's last name. Why does it say Ian Garry's 180 pounds and Belal Muhammad's 169 pounds? Can anyone explain that to me? What the fuck? Okay, well, I'm going Ian Garry because he is allowed to be 11 pounds over. I'm going with Ian Garry. He barely has to cut weight for this fight. They're making Belal cut under championship weight, 169 pounds. But Ian Garry gets to be 180? Ian Garry gets to fight at a catch weight. No, I mean, this just must be a UFC website error. $7 billion company. But anyway, back to the fight. Besides Ian Garry being able to eat whatever he wants fight week and be heavier, I'm picking Ian Garry. Belal Muhammad, he is a decision fighter. He is tough, granite chin. He can stalk you, march you down. He can dish it. He can take it. He'll take a punch to give a punch. He does have wrestling. He should be fighting Usman. And then maybe I'd pick Belal. But against Ian Garry, someone who has great footwork, a nasty jab, a real nasty jab. He's really good at going leg kick all the way back up to the head kick. He's got a slick head kick. His nickname is The Future. And I think if he wins, I think he's going to win. He's going to beat Belal everywhere. Belal's going to have a really hard time taking him down. If he can barely take down Jack, I know he could have tried a little harder. But still, Ian Garry has better takedown defense than JDM. It's truth. He has better footwork than JDM, I believe. He beat Prates. Yeah, he was walking around on his knees. Not walking on his knees, but you know. He was crawling around on the ground. Running away for dear life in round 5. But still, Is this a 5-rounder? Especially if this is a 3-rounder. I'm going Ian Garry. UFC doesn't want to have fun. They don't let us watch 5-round co-main events anymore that aren't for the belt, do they? They should bring that back. This should be a 5-rounder. This is basically a #1 contender fight. I'm not even the biggest Ian Garry fan, but they should be promoting him more. And that's coming from me. Yeah, Ian Garry, the jab, the kicks, the range, the footwork, the fight IQ is smarter. He's got a better fight IQ than Belal Muhammad. I just know it. I seen it. Ian Garry's younger, taking less damage. The only advantage Belal Muhammad has is maybe he has better takedowns. He's shot more takedowns. He's proved himself to be the better wrestler. But Ian Garry, his footwork is really going to stop that. His wrestling defense is just as good as any other wrestler's wrestling defense. He can shoot a takedown and get it. He can make you think about a single leg. He can. Maybe he'll catch Belal off guard. Catch a single leg. He does have some jiu-jitsu. He can take your back. He took Shavkat's back. I just hope this fight isn't a boring fight in the clinch. I would rather see Ian Garry fight from the outside, move around like I think he's going to do. I think it's going to be more exciting than the Shavkat fight because turns out Shavkat's not that exciting. Belal Muhammad brings it more than Shavkat actually. He brings it more. Not saying he's better, but he proved himself in that JDM fight. He can be exciting. He's going to try to trot forward. He's going to be able to absorb all of Ian Garry's strikes. The dude's got a huge noggin. He's got a chin. But Ian Garry's going to catch him with that head kick. He really is. He's going to catch him with that head kick. It's going to be there. That jab, he's going to bust up Belal Muhammad, make his nose bleed. He can definitely win a decision here. I definitely see him winning a decision. I could see him rocking Belal, but Belal's good enough to shoot a takedown and survive. Ian Garry for sure. I think he's really going to impress people here. And Belal's good. But the danger isn't there for Ian Garry to worry about. Like against Prates. There's a danger of losing a decision. But Ian Garry might be the master of winning a decision by now. The fight IQ's there, like I said. Ian Garry's getting better. That's the main difference here. Ian Garry's getting better. Belal's good. I don't think Belal's getting worse. I don't think he's getting worse. This is the year of the unks. But Ian Garry's getting better, and that's coming from me. I think Ian Garry could put him away. But I got to pick decision or KO. And when you watch Ian Garry's fights, all that footwork, I know he's getting better. All that footwork, I think he's going to beat Belal every round. I do. It's going to be like Belal's hanging in there. It's not going to look like a mismatch. We're not going to call it utter domination. But I think Ian Garry can win every round. Give me Ian Garry decision. I wish I knew if it was 5 or 3. I'm guessing 3. Just guessing and knowing how the UFC is. Give me Ian Garry. I think he's going to be impressive. Welterweight's on fire. I'm going to make a video on how stacked it is. But give me Ian Garry by decision. Or is he going to get the knockout? Fuck. Either way, I'm going Ian Garry over 2.5 rounds. Whatever it is. He might get the knockout later. I don't think it'll be early. But Ian Garry's going to win. He might get the knockout, but it won't be before 2.5 rounds. Give me Ian Garry by decision, most likely. All right. Here we are to the main event. I like how the UFC made this the main event over Ian Garry versus Belal. Because, actually, Well, let me first announce Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Guess who's back? It's Arman after 17 fucking months. It's about time, buddy. We needed you about a year ago. What the fuck, man? You let Nina Drama dictate and ruin your career? I have a conspiracy theory. I think Arman Tsarukyan was up all night with Nina Drama doing some freak off shit. And that's why he missed the fight. Because we've heard his back, we heard weight. They can't get it right. How about Nina Drama? I think Nina Drama is the reason he pulled out. He was with her all fight week. But Arman versus Dan Hooker. There's a little rivalry here. Not a rivalry, but these guys get heated. They were chirping at each other online. After watching Islam Makhachev fight JDM, I am worried. I am worried about having a potentially boring fight. But Arman isn't boring. But neither was Islam, and look what he just did. I'm picking Arman to win a decision. I don't think he's going to submit Dan Hooker with the Kimura like Islam did. I know that was a short notice fight. I know that Dan Hooker did beat a wrestler, Mateusz Gamrot, but Arman Tsarukyan's different. He beat Charles. Dan Hooker actually has better striking, I think. He does. He's a zombie. He's the New Zealand zombie, Dan Hooker. You don't want to get caught by those big meaty hooks. No, I'm not Lucas Tracy. But you don't want to get caught by those looping strikes from Dan Hooker. He does throw volume. He's not the fastest guy. But he kind of reminds me of Holloway when he has you against the fence. Damn, I want to see Hooker versus Holloway. But UFC loves their grappler Russian fighter versus their BMF striker. Have you noticed that? It's always been Russian grappler versus a BMF type striker. That's what the UFC loves to do. But as I was saying, Dan Hooker, he does have those zombie-like qualities where he walks you down, he's durable, he'll eat a Jalen Turner head kick and just hit you with hooks. And then he's tall, and he can hit you with that knee. He fought Poirier and was fucking him up with that knee. That Dustin Poirier-Dan Hooker fight, Hall of Fame fight for sure. I'm more of a fan of Dan Hooker. But as far as this division, Arman's more important. He is what is making this division more exciting, even though Dan Hooker is exciting. Arman's a threat. He's a grappler. He does have powerful kicks. He can kick high. He can throw axe kicks. He just can't string his striking together as good as other fighters. I think Dan Hooker has better combos. Shot for shot, I think Arman's more explosive and more dangerous on the feet. But Dan Hooker, he pieces it together better, even though he's not the fastest striker. He's a zombie. He charges at you all offense. Plus, he's got those knees. He's got decent low kicks. He's got a good reach. He can fight from kicking range with Arman. But let's be honest. Arman can shoot those double legs out of nowhere. Gamrot got him down. You think Arman won't get him down? Come on. Come on. This is a fun fight. Arman better watch out for those knees. But Dan Hooker's been out for a minute, but so's Arman. Welcome back, you two. They're both going to be rusty, but that could mean an exciting fight. They might just get straight to it. Well, I hope they're not rusty. They're both experienced enough. Arman's been grappling. Dan Hooker's been hosting backyard brawls and backyard fights. But he's been getting injured. I hope he's not turning brittle on us now. I know he's durable. I know he's a zombie. I know he's tough. But how brittle is he turning? No, he's not brittle. He ain't brittle. I won't say that. But fuck, his hand must be fucked up. His hand must be fucked up. But Dan Hooker, our guy Dan Hooker, he's on a win streak. Now, I know Arman wishes he got to spend this night with another hooker. Nina Drama. But he has to fight this hooker. He's going to be spending time with Dan Hooker on this night. He's probably going to meet up another hooker after Nina. But Dan Hooker, he's on a 3-fight win streak, right? Gamrot, that weird guy from Peru. And who else? Jalen Turner. Lost to Arnold Allen, lost to Islam. Yeah, it's going to be hard for Hooker to beat that upper echelon. It's going to be hard for Hooker to beat Topuria, Arman, right? Like, come on. Who else is top of the division? I wanted to see him versus Gaethje, versus Holloway. Those are the fights that Dan Hooker can thrive in and have a BMF war, you know? Arman is a nightmare. This is the worst matchup for Dan Hooker. Arman's going to shoot blast double legs. He's going to stay at range, throw kicks, stay safe on the outside. He'll still strike with Dan Hooker, but he's going to time and shoot those explosive double leg takedowns. He'll probably get close to submitting Dan. Dan's good at getting the butterfly guard, staying safe, like he did against Gamrot. He's got good balance on one leg, but Arman's going to get him down. But this is 5 rounds. I'm going Arman 5-round decision. But Arman, listen. Call out Ilya and mean it. Call out Ilya and mean it. I'm sick of this nice guy shit that the UFC is forcing their fighters to do. Okay? Let's not say, oh, talking trash is so WWE, it's so fake. Hello, UFC, you guys just got caught in a fight fixing scandal. I don't want to hear about, oh, talking trash is too WWE. But fixing fights isn't? Allegedly. Isaac Bulgarian, whatever his name is. Dalgarian. Isaac Dalgarian. Nelk Boys. White House card, all right? I don't want to hear about talking trash as WWE when all these other things are going on with the UFC. There's way more gimmicky shit that's being done right now in the UFC than trash talking. Trash talking is authentic. Even if you don't hate the guy. You guys are going to get into a fight. Arman, be bitter on that microphone. Call out Ilya Topuria. He's going to be there in the crowd with his brother. He's cornering his brother. Call him out. We got to restore order. Paddy Pimblett cannot get the next title fight. Justin Gaethje cannot get the next title fight. They need to fight each other. Arman, do your work. Don't make it boring. I know you're going to beat Dan Hooker 5-round decision. I'm sorry I'm picking against you, Dan. But at least hang in there. Put up a fight. Give Arman a bruise or two. Make him respect you. Don't let him walk all over you, smother you, and tap you out. I don't want to see a Dreykus versus Hamzat fight. I don't want to see a JDM versus Islam fight. But I'm still smart enough. I'm getting more experienced at these predictions. I'm picking Arman by out-wrestling Dan Hooker. Staying sharp on the outside. He can kick with Dan Hooker. It's going to be better than those title fights we've seen previously. Because this isn't it's not a title fight here. All right? Title fights seem to be cursed lately. We got a stacked fight night card. Arman, finish you with a cherry on top. Call out Topuria. He's inactive as fuck. So are you. But I don't care. Make a scene. Cause a scene for once. End the year with a bang, all right? All right. Yeah, I'm going Arman Tsarukyan 5-round decision. I hope Dan the Hangman can hang in there, though. This fight card is stacked. If you like my predictions and breakdown, hit like, hit subscribe, drop a comment. I have a feeling I'm going to get all my predictions right. All right? And if I do, you better hit like and hit subscribe. This channel's growing. Let's get to 300 subs. Let's get to 300 subs, all right? Let's get more subs than a jiu-jitsu tournament. That's the goal. All right, I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.